Hello beautifuls, and welcome to video 3 of our Crucial Conversation series. Now this is it. It's based on this brilliant book that's my go-to. It's a solid reference tool that I invite everybody to actually have a read of. I have it in hard copy and I have it in Audible as well. So if you just jumped in, press pause, go back. The first 2 sessions are short. They're about 10 to 15 minutes each, and they give you the context that you need to get this ready to work. Now, week 1, Get Unstuck, gave us the CPR, which is content, pattern, and relationship. Video 2, week 2, is Start with Heart. Reminds us to focus on what we really want and how to stay aligned to that. Now this week we're going down somewhere even deeper, and if you're a strong, driven woman, oh man, this one is going to hit home. We're actually talking about mastering my stories. The stories that we tell ourselves, in those high-stake moments, any moment really, but this is about, tools for talking when the stakes are high. The stories that we play over in ourselves. I can tell you now, this tool has saved my sanity, my marriage, my job, my credibility, my relationships more times than I can count. So let's first start with our accountability check-in. What are you at this week? Drop me a tick emoji if you're showing up and doing the work. Give me a different kind of emoji that's a bit wobbly, but you're still reflecting. And if life's been too big, you know the go, share with me a stop sign. Oh, life is too big and the work just slipped away. And then ask yourself, what story have I been telling this week? About work, your partner, your boss, your body, your life. You see, we are actually natural storytellers, and sometimes those stories are half-truths that just friggin' well keep us stuck. So pause, breathe. Remember, by God's grace, thank God we're able to breathe, because the minute you breathe, things shift inside you. So take a pause, breathe, and let's dig into what's really running the show. So, coming across to my handy dandy notes, what's the story I am telling myself, right? Because we've often got something. We have a thought as to why somebody does something, why they behave in a certain way, why they look in a certain way, why they don't do something, why they avoid something. There are so many ways, the stories that we tell. I just think of religion, politics, preferences, Apple, Android, why we like those particular, what stories am I telling myself? And then we look at, what are the facts? What else could be true? I've been telling myself over and over and over again that, that they don't like that. But no, it's not that they don't. They've got an allergic reaction, so they avoid it like the plague. Some things are really simple there. When we use those 3 particular questions, what's the story I'm telling myself? Then from that, what are the facts? You should always come back to facts. Facts separates the emotions. Doesn't mean you don't have them, but they're not governing you. And what else could be true? This is how we kind of get out of the emotional spin and back into actual clarity. When something triggers you, a comment, a look, an email, a text message, your brain fills in the blanks with a story. And that story comes from your truth unless you question it. That's where most conversations actually break down. Not in what was said, but in what we made it mean. So let's get into fixing that this week. Now, there are 3 skills of mastering your story. You can see them here. We're separating the fact from story. Facts are observable. Everyone would agree on them. The fact Monica is wearing a bee necklace. Anybody who is looking at that would see Monica is wearing a bee necklace. Everyone would agree. Stories, however, are your interpretation, your meaning-making machine kicking in. You know, like say for a work, right? The fact. They cancelled the meeting. Again. I just added the again because that's usually we generalize things as well. The story that you're telling yourself, potentially, or ruminating around, and you know, it says, they don't value my time. They don't value me. Perhaps I'm not important enough. There are so many different ways that we can say purely because someone has cancelled the meeting. The story that we tell ourselves. Then we need to watch out for the 3 unhelpful stories. And I call them the unhelpful 3. We often fall into one of these mental traps. It's like, we're in, right? Victim. Oh, it's always happening to me. The villain. They're doing this on purpose. And then helpless. Oh, there's nothing that I can do. So we've got the victim, the villain, and helpless. They're the 3 unhelpful stories that we will tell ourselves. These stories keep us emotionally safe, but they're rarely true, and they actually rob us of growth. And then we look at number 3. Tell a more useful story. Ask yourself, what else could be true? What story would help me move forward? What would I actually believe if I was grounded rather than explosive and not reactive? What would I believe if I was grounded and not reactive? This, my lovelies, is where you actually reclaim your power completely. So let me take you back to a Monday morning, HR, the wonders and dramas of HR. I opened up an email from an executive and instantly went from 0 to 100. My story, just need to take a breath because it's vivid. I remember this. He was blaming me, undermining my credibility, being a controlling micromanager. I can tell you now, I was ready to fire off a burn it down kind of reply. But thankfully for him and me, I stopped, breathed. Actually, I used box breathing at this time if you haven't seen it. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, and go around a few times. It's brilliant breathing. But I breathed and I asked myself, what's the story I'm telling myself? What are the facts? The fact was he asked for clarification. The story that I was telling myself, this little thing in here, you know, the itty bitty shitty committee and the story that's going around and somebody's telling a story and they're having an argument. The story I was telling was he thought I was incompetent. So I rewrote the story. What else could be true? Maybe he's overwhelmed. Maybe he's under pressure. Maybe this has sweet FA and nothing to do with me. That pause saved me from sending a, hand grenade email that I would have regretted. And what it did, it opened the door to a calm, productive conversation instead of a fight. So now it's your turn. Think of a conversation or a situation that really has been bugging the crappers out of you. You know, there's got to be one. You're human. There's life. Just one conversation or a situation scenario that's been bugging you. Ask yourself, what are the raw facts? Facts. What's the story that I've been adding? Our brain is brilliant at trying to fill in gaps and say why something is happening. So what's the story that I've been adding? Which trap am I in? Am I the villain? Am I the victim? Or am I helpless? Right? Remember, the victim. It's all happening to me. Oh, it always happens to me. The villain. They're bloody well doing this on purpose. I know it. Or are you helpless? Nothing I can do. Which one? Which trap are you in? And the next question, what else could be true? This, my lovelies, is where clarity, and calm and peace lives. Doesn't mean it's not going to be a dynamic, volatile, challenging space, environment, conversation, situation. Doesn't make it all rainbows and unicorns. But this, my lovelies, is where clarity lives. Not in blaming, but actually in becoming an author of a better story. So when you're thinking of that conversation or that situational conversation that's been bugging you, what are the raw facts? What's the story that I've been adding? Which trap am I in? Victim, villain, helpless. What else could be true? So your challenge this week is to pause in the moment. Breathing is brilliant. Just saying. Find your own way to breathe. Pause yourself in the moment. Catch the story. Catch it. Write it down. Then rewrite it with compassion, truth, and curiosity. You don't have to say it aloud, but the next time you feel triggered, and you will, you're human, we're human, I'm human, I get triggered. The next time you feel triggered, stop and ask, is this story helping me or is it hurting me? If you need support unpacking it, drop it into the comments or DM me privately. This is some big stuff. Mastering your story is where the real work begins, because it changes how people see you, how they perceive you, and also how you see yourself. You can have conversations that heal, and they lift people and engage people. Doesn't mean, everybody's singing Kumbaya, but they can heal. Or you can have a conversation that divides. It all starts with the story that you walk in carrying. Big thing, hey? So next week, we're actually going to be talking about make it safe. How to keep the conversation open when things feel tense, defensive, argumentative, like someone is shutting down. Now, until then, check your story, rewrite the ones that are keeping you small, and keep showing up one powerful choice at a time. Sending you much love.